Austin, Texas, and Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, two capital cities over 4,000 miles apart, and worlds apart in so many other ways. But a group of 14 volunteers from the USA are on a mission to change all that, as they embark on the latest Davis Moon project. Founded by Austin residents Sonia Simmons and Haley Haggerton in 2008, the project has collected 10,000 children's books, transporting them to Ethiopia and giving impoverished children the gift of learning in one of the most poverty-stricken places on Earth.
The Davis Moon Project was actually inspired by my son, Davis, who's Ethiopian. And the original thought was to go and create a library in the orphanage that we picked him up from. What happened was, before we knew it, we had 10,000 books at our house and a fistful of unsolicited donations, and we were able to start thinking on a much larger scale. Now, we've been able to put an inclusive project together that both helps impoverished children in Ethiopia and creates powerful advocates for literacy here in the U.S.
Sonia and I are very pro-education, so we love what the DMP has accomplished so far in collecting books here in the U.S. and literally transferring them directly into the hands of the kids in the rural areas that we're targeting.
On our 2010 mission, we ended up taking a little over 4,000 books in order to serve orphanages, libraries, and schools in impoverished areas of Ethiopia, which was a huge satisfaction. We took 14 people on this very personal and intimate journey, and it was extremely rewarding for everybody involved.
81% of Ethiopians live on less than $2 a day. Only 1 in 10 people in rural Ethiopia have access to reading material. 72% of Ethiopians cannot read or write. 42% live below the country's poverty level.
In Ethiopia, there are 80 languages actively spoken. Ethiopia is twice the size of the state of Texas. So the government has realized that we need to unite behind a language that will help us with global commerce. Literally, an Ethiopian living in one spot can't walk 2 miles down the road and effectively communicate or engage in commerce.
The reason we're so passionate about the Davis Moon Project is that only 1 in 10 kids in rural Ethiopia, including the area where our son Davis is from, have any access whatsoever to reading material. We supply library quality books written in English of a 3rd grade level or lower to children in Ethiopia who cherish the opportunity to learn from them.
From grade 4 onwards, they will also learn English as a single subject. So the books you brought them will help them up to the end of their academic studies.
English is the language that they've selected in order to teach in schools and to lift and break the cycle of poverty in Ethiopia. Therefore, people are asked to know their own language and also to learn English. In order to facilitate this, the government has said all classes except for one will be taught in English starting in the 5th grade. All classes completely will be taught in English in Ethiopia in the 8th grade. So if you're lucky enough to be one of the 1 in 3 children that have the privilege of going to school, you'll have a chance at succeeding if you have some exposure to English before you reach the 5th grade.
The Davis Moon Project sets itself apart from other charities by its unique hands-on approach, as the volunteers hand-carry the donated books to their destination.
Each volunteer has basically surrendered all of their baggage allowance to the Davis Moon Project. In addition to that, we have negotiated an increased baggage allowance with the airlines. So we're able to actually take 200 pounds per person in checked baggage without any fees at all. Our volunteers are limited to what they can carry on the plane themselves as their personal effects. So once we get on the ground, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds of bags of books checked to each person, and we're able to take those books and literally place them in the hands of a community and children that are going to use them as an empowerment tool. Our books not only go to libraries, schools, orphanages in Ethiopia. They also go on donkey mobile libraries that serve the rural community. So there's many ways that we use to get these books to children that are underserved or impoverished who absolutely don't have access to the books. I certainly noticed when I visited Davis's orphanage that there were 60 children in the orphanage and there were maybe 8 books. And it struck me then that it was just a natural connection as we outgrow our books or find different forms to read our books in electronically, that we then transfer our books to Ethiopia, and it can really make a powerful statement. We contribute school supplies, books, lesson plans, all kinds of learning tools for children 3rd grade level and lower to try to give them a chance to be successful in school later on.